What's up, guys? We're gonna make a little project today for his frameless shooters. This is a common way of shooting frameless in places like the Philippines and Thailand and a couple other places in Asia. A friend of mine showed me this, and I've been a big fan of them. I just haven't made one in a while. I've just been using my standard sets, but I decided to make another one because I actually enjoy them quite a bit. You don't have to do it with paracord. You could use, I've seen people use like leather straps from wallets or just like make their own with the two ends folded over and then either sewn down or glued down or something. And you want it to be really secure with your tab ends, and then some people will just run tubes through the loops, and then they'll have that leather tab on them with their tubes, or tubes or flats rather. This is one of the ways that I prefer to do it. I just think it's kind of cool looking, and they're easy to do. So this is 3 strands of paracord, about 12 inches long. You can do a little longer or shorter depending on how you want it. The long and the short of it is, I'm not going to get into huge detail with this. You guys will be able to figure it out by watching, but you're essentially going to take your one knotted end and pinch the cord. Once you've got the one knotted end to where your knuckle would be for when you're shooting frameless, you bring that down to your thumb, so that's out of the way, and then measure up to here. When you get your hand into your frameless position, measure to the spot where you know that's where you're going to have your elastic running over your trigger finger knuckle. So both of these are lined up with where you want them to be. You can be off by a little bit, but you'd rather be shorter with your grip than longer, because you don't want the paracord being the thing that feeds over your hand. You can do it that way, and I've seen people do it that way, but I just don't find it to be as accurate. I find with the flats still running over my knuckle, that's the way to go. So once you got that measured up, you could do a million different things here, like wrap a piece of tape there or something like that, and then just tie it in a knot, and then just keep the 3 strands. But I like it to be a little neater because I don't want to get caught on stuff, so I'm going to braid this. So if you guys don't know how to braid, it's dirt simple. For you guys who do, you can just skip forward. But you're just going to take, for your 3 strands, this is dirt simple. You take your outside strand, feed it into the middle. Okay? Outside strand on the opposite side, feed it into the middle. Rinse and repeat. And you just keep doing that. Okay? That I'm doing it loose there because just to illustrate, but you'll want to get them nice and tight. So get this braided up. Doesn't take that long. Every once in a while, stop and give it a little tug, just to make sure everything's even and neat. If you lose track of where you are, just stop, back off 2 or 3, and go at it again. Just maintain your pattern. Try not to cinch the paracord tight as you're making the braids. If you decided to leave the internal cordage in there, which I would recommend, otherwise they're kind of floppy. Yeah, don't cinch it too tight because it looks really weird, and some spots will be smaller than others and it doesn't look even. So about like that. Check your hand. Need about another inch of this. And there you go. So once you got that braided up, take your loose ends here, just keep them together, nothing special, you just have to hold them. Feed, this is the easiest way I find to do it, is just to feed the knot around and get it to go through the middle, as opposed to trying to tie the ends off. You just tie this down onto itself. And this is kind of a pain, but you just take your time. Yeah, that's the part that's the pain. So when you go to cinch it down, sometimes it'll want to undo. So you gotta make sure you like that. Be sure to go along your cordage and make sure it's all nice and even. Make sure that knot is tight as a nun's corset, because you do not want that knot coming undone once you've got this all set up and having it smoky in the face. Be no different than having weak fork tips on any of your frames. Nip off your excess there. Oops. Just about. Melt your end here. Cheap lighters. There you go. Seals the knot up nice and pretty. So there's your paracord handle. You see how stiff that cord is. It won't even, you can shape the damn thing. It's so stiff. And that's why I like the braiding like that and leaving the internal strands in, like I said, because that's what keeps it from getting loose on you. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, whatever you like, but this seems to work just fine. And let's see here. Grab some ties real quick. Should have probably had these out already, but whatever. Just trying to get something that somewhat matches. Doesn't need to be crazy long anyway. It doesn't need to be crazy thin. You want it to have a decent amount of strength to it. Just nip this guy a little more narrow. Because, as with any frameless set, you want it to be, you want to have as even an amount of material on either side of the pouch as possible. It's just not even for safety's sake, but more so. And as that sounds kind of stupid to say out loud, but I mean just more so because of your accuracy and your consistency. If your pouch is weighed one side to the other, it doesn't work very well. So I'm not going to show you how to tie an OTT band set. Most of us know how to do that. If you don't, just go and find a video on it. But tie yourself an OTT band set. This is just some .75 precise yellow. Tying it on there is just as straightforward as you would with tying it onto a frame. Just use the knot as your post, if you want to call it that. I try and tie to the side of the paracord, because when you wrap it over your knuckles, it's going to want to feed over the top. So go down the side of the braid. I put about an inch or so on there of the flat. And you're just going to do a wrap and tuck like you would. Oops. With a regular frame. One those. And then we're going to fold up, like I said, regular old wrap and tuck. At this point is when I excuse me. This is when I grab my string loop. Lay my string loop on here. Go over that. Over your cuff. Go. Nice and secure, not going anywhere. Nip off your excess, and as I said, rinse and repeat. Just do that one more time on the other side. This is where you can give it a little measure while you're doing this. Make sure you got your pouch orientation correct. I'll tell you right now, you do not want to do all this fiddling around only to realize that you tied it backwards. It's no fun. One inch flat, just like before. Through your loop. Pull your loop. Just like before. And there you go. One tie style frameless set. And it's just as simple as putting your finger in like you would for a flat set, or rather a tube set. Knuckles in just like you normally would. Remember I said that you don't want the paracord to go over your knuckles? This is still elastic going over the knuckles, not the cord. So it's just a gripper, but you can see how even it makes everything. And that's that. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Another way of shooting frameless that's real comfortable, real easy to do. Didn't take much. Just a little screwing around with some paracord. And like I said, you can do it with a leather strap and tabs. You can get as fancy or as simple as you want. But, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Make yourself one. Get out and shoot something. Peace.